Hey, amazing parents, here are 4 ways to really keep your relationship with your teenagers nurtured and healthy. Number one is actually your own self care. If you don't take care of your own self, you won't have enough to be able to put in to the relationship. Your self care is important. And your self care is more than just going to get a pedicure or have a massage. Your self care includes what you tell yourself. Your self care includes how kind you are to yourself, how forgiving you are to yourself. And actually, what are some routines that you do for yourself to help you grow, your personal development? All these things form of your self care. And without that, you won't have enough. You'll be depleted of energy to be able to then put into the relationship with your teenagers. Your self care as well is a template for your teenagers to be able to then see what self care is really all about. Number two are your emotions. It's so important that for us to nurture that relationship and keep that relationship healthy, we have to learn how to self regulate our emotions. And I know a lot of times things can happen. We can get frustrated. We can be tired over things. It's so important that we learn and we practice. It takes practice to be able to then regulate our emotions. And when we're in the moment of things and things are about to get heated up, it's important for us to remember to pause and say, you know what, I'll come to this a bit later so that we don't spill out. Because what happens when we are dysregulated, it's very easy for us to then spill out words that would never be taken back. So vital to just be conscious. And what I do personally is sometimes in the mornings, part of my affirmations is I declare what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a calm parent today. I am a peaceful parent. So, there's some words that when you then say that that's who you are and that's what you're going to practice, then it just reminds you in the day to just stay alert. That's really important. Number three, in order to keep a healthy and nurturing relationship between you and your teenager, is to avoid comparing your teenagers to others. That is one area that many teenagers just can't get their heads around it. And what happens is when we compare them to other people, it doesn't motivate them, because I hear a lot of parents say that the intention behind comparing them is to motivate their teens to do better. But it actually doesn't. It actually makes your teenager feel worse, feel less than. And that's not a good space to be in, because when they're in that space of less than and they don't feel good about themselves, then they make a lot of bad choices based on how they feel about themselves. So really important that we avoid comparing. And the fourth point that I'm going to share is also to avoid criticizing our children. Very, very important. Teenagers are at an age where they are trying to find out who they are. They're trying to find out where they belong. And they even tell themselves off even more. So we need to avoid criticizing them. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't correct them. That's very, very important. Correcting them is important. We're still guiding them. But the way we correct them is in a more matured way. We correct without criticizing them. It's important to talk about the issue, but then don't criticize them. It's not the behavior. It's more of the behavior you're talking about and not them. Don't then speak at them. Don't say, I'm disappointed in you, or so try and avoid such words, because when we criticize them, when we compare them, it ruptures the relationship. It really does rupture the relationship. So very, very important to keep these in mind: your self-regulation, your self-care, your not criticizing them, not comparing them. And also the fifth one I'm going to add as an additional one is to actually learn how to actively listen to them. Many teenagers tell me that their parents don't listen to them. And I know that in every parent's hearts, they mean to listen. They intend to listen. But the teenagers don't see it that way. Many of the teenagers don't see it that way. So I will encourage you to ask your teenagers, what do I do that makes you know that I'm listening to you? And what do I do that makes you think that I'm not listening to you? Just ask them that question in a very non-judgmental way and tone. and let them give you the answers. And whatever answers they give you, if they say this is what you do when you listen, then please keep doing what it is that you do when you listen. And when they share with you things that you do where they think you're not listening, then please next time, let's just avoid it. Putting the effort into nurturing our relationship with our teenagers is worth it, because the relationship we have with them now in the teen years is the foundation to the relationship we're going to have with them as they become young adults and even as they grow into adults. It's really, really important that we take this stage very seriously. Don't allow this stage to just pass by. Don't endure this stage. No, this stage is really to enjoy and to build it up for what the future relationship in their adulthood is going to be. So I trust that this helps. Take care.